Kingston. EY. For the girl them. Right. Hey.
How's it going, guys? It's your boy Josh, aka Olufemii.
And it's your boy T. What up?
This video is going to be about managing a celebrity shoot. Tej, me and you, we grew up in Portland, Oregon. We both moved to LA.
That's right,
both
Oregon.
represent both avid filmmakers. There's definitely a learning process as far as how to succeed in the film industry. We're still learning, like always. But this video is going to be about one of the first really professional shoots that we did. Main artist in the music video was this East African artist named AY, featuring Sean Kingston. So much we learned. Let's get into it.
Let me hear you say yeah. All night I'ma make you say yeah. Slow wine, baby, put it in the air. Take your time, I ain't going nowhere. Look around how everybody stay. Show out, girl, I don't really care. It's unfair, you're sexy. So fine with your pretty long hair.
So the song by AY and Sean Kingston, it was named Touch Me, Touch Me.
Yeah, sounds interesting when you say
Yeah,
like that.
it's an interesting name. It was a very interesting experience.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say the video came out incredible. It was our first video.
Yeah.
It's fun to look at. It's nostalgic for us.
Yeah.
I wouldn't necessarily just go showing it to the world, but hey,
yeah, but we learned a lot.
we learned a ton from this video. So what we realized is there's a professional way of doing things and an amateur way of doing things. We'd been doing filmmaking forever, just by ourselves, kind of just playing around, cruising around Portland, LA, just having fun. But once you move to LA and you start working with professional crews, you realize that you need to communicate your vision to a group of people apart from yourself. Yeah. So, professional way of doing things. The first thing I remember learning how to do was permits. We didn't quite do permits right, did we?
Yeah, we didn't get it at all. So that's the wrong way to do it.
We didn't get any permits. We had a huge, massive budget production, and we were like, hey, we're not gonna have to buy permits because we're shooting it in a private property. Wrong. Little did we know, if we had done some research, we would have seen that here in Los Angeles, you actually need to have a permit even if you're shooting inside a private property. Yeah. We would have gotten away with it. However, we were being so loud because we were pumping the music outside.
You're basically having a party. The video was a party. So.
All over the neighborhood, and we got one of the neighbors called the police on us. And so the police show up to the house. We're right in the middle of shooting. I freak out. Tedru, I think you're like upstairs.
Yeah, I think I was just like trying to focus on getting the shots.
But they come up, they knock on the door, and I'm like, oh snap. Our shoot is going to be shut down. It's going to be so embarrassing. We're going to lose the budget. We can't afford to pay all these crew another day. So here's the cool thing that happened. Some random person that was on set let them inside the house. And the police didn't know that they were not the owner of the property. So essentially the police broke the law by coming into the house without permission. And I guess evidently that's like...
This is news to me. I always wondered how we got away. So
okay, so evidently, I don't know if this is true, but evidently they weren't allowed to do that. And so... the actual owner of the house got really angry and was like shouting at telling the police, hey, why are you in here? The police decided not to continue the investigation as far as permits goes, and we basically got away with it.
So otherwise, it would have been shut down.
Otherwise, our shoot would have been shut down.
Yeah.
Would have been horrible.
So if you're shooting indoors, either get a permit or be quiet when you're shooting.
In regards to just all these tips that we're talking about, we just always need to be remembering that this is a very special opportunity that we're getting, working with, an A-list person, any kind of like someone that has a lot of notoriety, a celebrity, especially if you were amateurs like we were back in the day. So the next thing I want to talk about is the importance of establishing a hierarchy of authority on set. So establishing a clear hierarchy on set allows there to be an effective flow of procedure. So I remember the first thing that we did, I was the assistant director. I gathered everyone, the entire crew around in a circle, and I was like, hey guys, how's it going? We are going to be leading you today. This is the director, Tedru. I'm the assistant director, Josh. We have the DP, so-and-so. Just everyone understood their roles.
And another situation I had is just that, with the PAs, it's easy to get lost in the mix. You're not a known director. So it's easy for them to forget that maybe this guy's the director, or, that lack of the respect is not there. So I had a situation where I was unable to see the monitor in between, shooting live and looking back at the footage. And the PAs were blocking, and I'm like, and they're looking at me like,
"Hey, who are you?"
Exactly. So it's it's okay to be a quote unquote asshole. Like, guys, I need to get out the way, or hey, listen, I'm the director.
It's gonna be direct sometimes.
But yeah, shout out to the PAs. It's all love. It's all love.
Amazing. They actually did a really good job on that shoot. One thing that we realized next, I think, is when you're dealing with an A-list client that's really busy, has a packed schedule, you kind of have to be flexible with your schedule. So we made sure that we changed shooting times, and we changed even shooting locations to kind of adapt to his schedule as it changed.
Exactly.
It can be kind of hard sometimes, but it just kind of goes with the way things are.
Yeah, we had to adapt 2 times. The first time was okay. We can't whatever other location we wanted to do. It's got to be at his place. We shot at his place.
We had a lot of locations we wanted, but he didn't want to drive that far. So we get it.
Switch his location. Second one was we had a whole day of shots planned.
We thought we were gonna shoot all day.
Yeah, well, at least the 8 hours. Typical. But on the day, we got word he had a record label meeting. So he had to leave, So we only ended up having him for 30 minutes. 30 minutes, yeah.
So Sean was the featured artist. So you got to understand that when you're dealing with featured artists as opposed to actual artists, if you shoot the actual artist on the track is going to have a lot more ownership for the video. On this regarding the video, they're gonna stay longer. Abide by your requests a lot more. But when you have a featured artist, they kind of care a little bit less about the video. So it's like we had 30 minutes. That's all we had.
Exactly. Yeah. So you just gotta be flexible. You gotta be ready to adapt. So on the spot, just had to think about, okay, let's just get the bare minimum shots of him performing.
Another way that we had to adapt was, it was funny, we didn't have enough time to shoot all the aerials that we wanted.
Yeah. We started, but the lighting, the sun was setting, it was too dark.
Right. So we shot the shoot in the Hollywood Hills. A lot of the aerials that you see in the video were actually shot in Santa Barbara, like about 2 hours north of there. I used to teach at a community college up there. And so I just had a friend get those aerials, and they doubled pretty well for the Hollywood Hills. So let's talk about compensation. This video was by no means the biggest video in the world, but it was kind of big for us at that time. How much did we get paid?
It was definitely less than what you would imagine.
It was a lot less. It was a lot less. Embarrassingly less. Embarrassingly less.
Which was kind of our fault.
It was completely our fault. And this leads to our next point. Make sure that you budget yourself into the budget so that you actually get paid. What we did all the time before was we had a production budget, and we just said, okay, we're going to pay ourselves with whatever money is left. That's so dumb. So what we should have done is we should have had a fee. We should have told people, this is how much we charge to direct and to edit. You're the director. I was the assistant director and the editor. We should have had our specific fees for each of our specific roles. I think we were just so excited that we got this video. We were just like,
we just want to, which makes sense. It's like, okay, let's just get it done really well, and we sacrifice
everything.
Everything.
So hey, it was a good experience, but you get the point. In the future, that's what we made sure. It's important to realize that your time has value, and you need to be compensated for your time.
That's right. So pay yourself first.
So the next thing I want to talk about, I think, is get the right DP. This music video is a big deal. Let's make sure that it actually looks adequate and that you have the right guy or girl for the job. I feel like the DP that we used had never shot a hip hop music video before. This guy was an amazing DP. He, as far as, film production, as far as feature films and everything, but he just didn't know a lot of things that you need to know for a hip hop music video, meaning like camera shake, putting like diopters in front of the lens, the camera, just like having a really kind of, the flow just was not quite what we were looking for. And it was kind of our fault because we got all wowed by this guy's reel, but we didn't think, is this the actual type of reel that we need?
Exactly.
So just do your research, get the right crew, get the right DP, or just DP it yourself.
Exactly. Learn to shoot the rig yourself, which is what we do now. And another thing, go to the location and test the shots. We got there and it's all white walls. And
it was ugly.
It was ugly. So.
Ugly location. Okay, let's talk about color grading. I remember I hadn't used a red a lot. I know you'd used it a few times, but I was like, okay, we're shooting flat, log footage. We need someone that really knows how to use and color grade this type of footage. And I think it's important. A color grader can make or break a shoot, but if you're not able to afford kind of the top-notch color grader, which is gonna cost a little bit more money, I would say just do it yourself, because the results that you're gonna get from a mid-range color correction artist is not going to be worth the money.
I mean, it's not that it's bad, but I mean, it's possible to do in Premiere.
We got screwed, basically. We got screwed.
I'm going to refrain from saying that, but
if you look at the color grading in the video, I don't think it looks good at all. And we could have totally done the exact same type of work and better right in Premiere. Okay, so next tip, I think, is getting a set designer. That's not something that we did for this video
at all. Yeah, would come in handy.
Yeah, so we got to the shoot, we got on set, we had all of our shots planned out, we had all of our actors ready to start, and we realized we don't have any props. We basically had all these actors sitting on the couch looking at like the main performer performing, and we were like, shouldn't they be holding something? Like, and we were like, oh yeah, maybe glasses of wine.
It's a party scene. So.
It's a party scene. Then we're like, okay, where are we gonna get the glasses? So we're like, we had to scramble in the kitchen, find some random glasses. We had to like make fake like liquor by like mixing. It was horrible. We obviously had we had not prepared at all. Get a set designer. When you're shooting a music video, a lot of the time you're trying to create a fantastical environment. So it's most likely that you're gonna have to create a set that's apart from what you would normally get when you would just show up to the location. You're trying to create worlds, different worlds. All right, so I think the last thing we should talk about is crew loyalty.
Yes.
I think we did a pretty good job in general, but there's one situation that I really felt bad about. It's kind of
that you reminded me about.
It's kind of hilarious
today,
to think about now. It's kind of bad. All right, this is what happened. So we had a limited budget, of course, and we had a G&E, a Grip and Electric guy that we had agreed on for his quote, and we hired him. We're like, you are our guy for the shoot. We later found another guy that would do the exact same job for cheaper, and we were like thinking about it, and they were like, we're gonna do it. So we ended up calling the first guy and saying, hey man, like, we found another guy that's cheaper. We're gonna have to let you go. I'm sorry. We kind of did this kind of really close to the shoot date too. We were like, hey, you know what, budget? You don't have the, it would work for the budget. So we thought we were in the clear. The night before the shoot, that second guy ends up canceling on us. And we thought we were screwed.
Which we were.
We were screwed. We were screwed. So basically what happened is we had to go call the first guy and beg for him to come back and be our Grip and Electric guy. And it was kind of embarrassing to do. Luckily, he was really gracious. He stepped in. He did it. But it just got us thinking, you know what? We probably should have just stayed with the guy because we had an agreement. Budget is always something that is an issue, but we need to be loyal to our crew and just stick with the first people that we choose. It's so funny looking back at our past exploits of seeing everything that got us to where we are now. Of course, we're still trying to climb that ladder. But that was a fun shoot. It was a cool story. We learned a lot from it. If you guys have any similar stories as far as when you guys first started out, maybe you had a really cool opportunity, share it in the comments. We'd love to hear. And as always, guys, keep it chill. Add your name and place of residence to my latest Instagram post, and I promise to give your Instagram page a little peek.